Alrighty. I just did a 50-minute video and it was interrupted. So that was annoying. I'm not going to repeat it. But yeah, that was a bit of a frustrating thing that happens with technology. I may have repeated it another time. It's weird to me that it was interrupted and yet I was still able to get these annoying little trolls arrive in the comments section. But yeah, the thing, what I'm doing here when I do these is I'm rehearsing for if I have to, legally defend myself against what's been used against me. That's what anyone would do. This is like my life has been hijacked and I am preparing my legal case as I have been for 3 years. It's just that as, in the preparation of this, I keep exploring more and finding more things. Now, yesterday across Western Australia, you will have seen on the news more than likely, there was a seizure of guns from so-called sovereign citizens by the West Australian Police. Right. Let's get down to fucking basics. What is a gun? If I went back 1,000 years and I said, I want your gun, they'd say, what's a gun? So what's the word that we'd use? We'd use the word weapon. Right? So from now on, whenever we're talking about anything like this, we should not be referring to guns. A gun is a particular weapon. So is a pressure cooker if you know how to use it. So is a hammer. There's a lot of things that could be described as a gun, or as a weapon. So this is a seizure of weapons. And what is the claim? Well, the claim is that if these people don't believe in government, then they are not fit to hold a gun or a weapon. So what is government? Well, in this country, it's a constitutional monarchy. That's what our government is. That is what distributes power down to the police to do such actions as this. So they've because there is a political debate going on, they've gone straight to remove a weapon. Now, what do they use to remove the weapons? Well, they use weapons. Now, what did they use to find out who had the weapons? Well, here's the fucking $1 million secret, or the $1 million claim, or the $1 trillion claim, actually. They used weapons. What type of weapons? Well, they used concealed weapons. Action in Western Australia with guns is almost nil. I could list them out in my hand and still have fingers to spare. The amount of times I've even seen, let alone held, a gun. In fact, the most guns I've ever seen have been held by West Australian police officers by a factor of fucking 10. But we're not talking about guns. We're talking about weapons. What weapons have been used against me? Well, it's the phone. It's the phone. Whether it's a landline or whether it's a mobile phone, this is what's been used to phone the gun-wielding police officers. Now, after Port Arthur in Tasmania, the so-called massacre that we had there was a rule that all automatic weapons were to be removed. Now, why is that? Well, because an automatic weapon, instead of going like this, bang, 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 like John Wick, bang, 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 you just go, right? And it's seen to be far more dangerous because is far more dangerous because each time you pull the trigger, you see, it requires a thought process to happen. and drrr, obviously, automatic weapons were banned, except for military and police. I don't even know whether police are allowed to carry automatic rifles. I haven't looked into it. So what's happening is, well, if there is an automatic capacity of a weapon where on one trigger you are causing catastrophic damage on the other side, now, what is an automatic gun? Well, it's a series of moving parts. Yeah, quite a technical marvel, really. It has springs and levers and finely tuned metal pieces and cartridges and this whole supply chain of things that result in a gun that goes instead of do 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 do, and even that's semi-automatic. Do 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 do. This is what we already have clear legislation towards: is governance over weaponry, over weapons. Well, what happens when our system turns into an automatic weapon? All by this. And then paperwork flying everywhere, police fucking to and froing, prison guards doing this, courts sending more paperwork, media sending this, automatic weapon of mass destruction right here. Not this one. This one doesn't work anymore. I haven't used it in, 2 or 3 months. I will never get another one in my life. It is a weapon. And how have I chosen to use my weapon? Well, I do things under my name with my digital identity that I made for myself, because I'm not going to be dictated to about what my digital identity is. I used my digital identity to combat a war of people not without a digital identity that had been collected as a weapon, an automatic weapon of mass destruction. Like dominoes. So once tipped off, you're all fucking falling over and doing this fucking elaborate fucking yin-yang fucking dragon, Ying dynasty fucking display, and no one knows how to stop the fucking thing. You're a little spring in a gigantic automatic machine gun, and it's making Port Arthur look like a fucking afternoon tea party at a kindergarten. There's death and destruction all around you. So what is a weapon? Well, a weapon is something designed to inflict harm. Now, what does removing association with your actions do? It removes your connection with harm. Hence the ban on automatic rifles. So if you can't respond, so you can go on the internet, find people like me, maybe with, doing less directive thing. They've got to some point basically that they're like, there's something wrong, because they're witnessing the largest automatic weapon just firing off at will. And they're like, oh, there's something wrong. They look on the internet for 5 minutes. They find some type of term that they're using to kind of put their flag up. Basically, sovereign citizen is what? Hey, I think maybe our state, our country has turned into an automatic weapon and it's firing off and destroying the place based on these things. But none of you know what's going on, because it's like you're an inanimate object at this point. I can't talk to the spring that pushes the cartridge up in a machine gun and reason with it for it to not do its job. It does its fucking job because that's what it was designed to do. And that's all it does. All it does is push that little bit up there so that bit can slide and this can go there and the fucking thing comes up and then the trigger goes back and then dish, all in a fucking fraction of a second. And not one of those pieces knows what the other fucking piece is doing. It can't fucking conceptualize itself, and it certainly doesn't have a fucking social media page. So what am I declaring? That our fucking bureaucratic public servant fucking mess is? It's an automatic weapon of mass destruction. Now it's in your fucking court to prove me wrong. How can it not be if I've not had response? How many people are dead within a 6 month period of having an interaction with one of our government organizations? Where is that statistic? Oh, we don't need a reply to you, Shannon. We don't need a reply to you. I just go, and my mate goes, and the cartridge, my other mate down there goes, and then the trigger comes back, bang. That's all we do. You're not even doing this. You're not even all in the same uniform. You're not like Nazi Germany. It's decompartmentalized Nazi Germany or fucking communist revolution down to just this. Oh, says we go arrest Shannon. Okay, let's go arrest Shannon. Says we're going to take this guy's gun. Let's take his gun. There's more like independent response from a team working at Hungry Jack's than there is in any of this system now. Every day I do this and I address it directly to, which I cannot direct anything to the West Australian Labor Party, the Premier, and I'll instruct any of you, if you want to have a look at what's actually going on, go and look at any of the official things coming out of the West Australian Labor Party's like PR, their social media. Go and have a look at what they're literally like comparing the opposition minister to Taylor Swift and doing some type of like schoolgirl fucking like critique of the person officially responsible at combating this manifestation of automatic fucking atrocity. A weapon is something that causes harm, that is wielded by a person. An automatic rifle turns like what would have been a team of 20 people, you know, stocking and recartilage and muzzle loading, like a complete artillery into one person's hand. That's why it fucking is banned. We need to understand the actual things away from it's not a fucking gun. It's not a picture. It's not an outline. It's not a silhouette of something that you recognize as an AK-47, as an AR-15, as a whatever type of automatic rifle, you know what I mean, that you're thinking. You've got to get down. It is a man-made device that basically puts an entire artillery platoon in the hands of one man. And so what is going on? Well, that's that. It doesn't need to be the thing to be dangerous. This has done more damage than every fucking ever made. You're just a part. an inhuman fucking cog in a fucking weapon, atrocious weapon of mass destruction? Well, because it keeps you in your own little bubble. Unless it's telling you to do a job, you're just free to look at pornography, to gamble, to look at gossip, to endlessly scroll through whatever it is, whatever particular algorithmic perfection fucking paradise bubble you've created for yourself, to distract you right up until the moment that it says, go and arrest Shannon. Has it ever, like, legitimized a person acting, like, anomalously to this system? So what does that mean? It means that this system here that you're participating in is self-declaring anyone who is anonymous, like in a way that isn't in alignment with dissociative slavery, is an enemy of the most dangerous automatic weapon ever made. So is it a surprise that there aren't the 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 active vocal participants in constant conflict with this system? Would you want to go against that? Yet that's what you're declaring is the prerequisite for you to stop participating in your autonomous display of military alignment, unofficial military alignment. Because I can guarantee you, there's a man with his finger somewhere. And his finger's been down like that for 5 years. This is a lot of jagged things. So if this hasn't recorded, I'm going to be really pissed off. If you can't act differently, if you can't self-regulate your own behavior and are proven, you are not fit to carry a gun or a badge in this state. We already have 100 years worth of fucking evidence compiled to bring this actual situation to justice. We have enough consent, enough like reason to absolutely obliterate you. You are not prepared for, because you are part of an inanimate fucking object that is causing destruction across the land. So you do not know how to react to us. All we are trying to do is to figure out how to snap you the fuck out of it. If you're a police officer in Western Australia, I urge you to go to King's, go and buy a swag, hand your uniform and your gun in, resign, and go camping for 2 weeks and go and get some fresh air. And fuck out of whatever it is they've fucking convinced you that you're doing, whatever fucking stress it is that you think you're under. If you've got a young family, go and take your wife and your young kids on a little camping trip, go and get some fresh air, jump in the fucking water, go for a swim and realize you're in the fucking luckiest country on fucking earth. And that the true Australians will protect that country from automated fucking communist fucking absolute fucking cowardly cunts. You replace the term sovereign citizen with appropriate opposition. Trying to prop up a opposition leader, ex-weatherman, who's being swamped with 7 dimensions of fucking atrocious AI created lowest common denominator fucking digital slop. With the most atrocious behavior, the most, the elevated level of destruction of our nation happening all in every dark tributary, stemming all the way from our Premier's office. If I cannot respond to the Premier because I pulled him up on him wishing a train happy birthday on October 7th, 2 years ago, and I suggest you go and have a look. I can't show you because I'm blocked. But you go and have a look, search Roger Cook archive October 7th or October 8th, whichever one it was, and you find out what his post was. You find the dog whistle for yourself. You realize that you've got a swastika on your fucking shoulder, and you resign from the West Australian Police Force. There'll be a job there. After your holiday, after you recover, after you do things, after you fucking snap out of whatever the fuck type of programming you're in that makes you think that you're doing the right thing, we'll find a job for you. In fact, most people will find a job. We'll find a job so much better than anything you're doing at the moment that you won't even fucking believe it. We'll have a reality for you that's so much better than what you're doing, you won't even fucking believe it. No matter what nation, no matter what religion, no matter what anything you're from, once we stop destroying our country and start building it again, and not just building it, we start enjoying it again. We snap out of this automatic weaponed reality and step back into humanity, we'll all be just fine. But we're trying to do it without murdering a fuckload of you, because that's too easy. It's too easy, but it causes too much uncertainty, too much destability on the other side, because no one's going to want to be a fucking police officer in Western Australia if we go and do that. We do not want to have a fucking military coup, a rebellion coup, a vigilante guerrilla warfare coup, because it will freak everyone out too much. And everyone's already freaked out enough because of what you're doing and what you have been doing for 5 years. Your system is the most atrocious thing because it is not even secure. There is nothing. Walked straight up to your fucking Minister of Veterans Affairs from the Labor Party. If it had have been, something which I would want to do, he'd be dead. And that applies to every single one of you. You are a fucking automaton fucking automatic weapon being programmed from offshore. And we can't know exactly where until you all stop, and then we watch the fucking stock market crash, or we watch the reaction from our fucking enemies. That's how we find out. But first, you have to stop being a fucking spring that pushes a cartridge up, where your mate fucking pops in and the trigger comes back, the hammer comes back, dish, 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 in a split second, you fucking killed someone. Do we say, let's ban fucking springs? No, we don't. Because we recognize that an arrangement of parts can be more dangerous than its individual parts. We can't ban springs. And that's what you are. We can't ban triggers. We can't ban metal. We can't ban lead. It's the assemblance of the parts, of the materials into the fucking machine of hell. Now, why was World War I, World War II very different than the wars that came before? Because of this, because of these automatic weapons. This is what brought us everything. It turned thousands and thousands of years into noble, honorable military combat, which is most of the time over exaggerated. So we had a beautiful balance between honor and duty and all these things, and then the realities. It was always exaggerated. Now, the problem is that when we got these weapons, all those exaggerations were underwhelming compared to the true reality of what fucking running across a fucking field of trenches into 6 people with machine guns was like. Well, this is exactly the fucking same. It's one big machine gun. It's a stressed population, constantly kept under stress, dumbed into stupor, and then individually programmed in a diddle web in order to exact and enact absolute catastrophe onto our nation. And you, as I said, the emphasis is on you to prove me the fucking wrong. Show me how it's not that. Show me how, after I've worked in almost every institution, McDonald's being one of the major ones, McDonald's is this. This is what McDonald's is. Now, I go to fucking 9 out of 10 McDonald's and they can't put the right amount of pickles in a fucking burger. So why do I think that someone fucking 2 years out of fucking working in a McDonald's drive-through is has the appropriate skills to carry a fucking gun and enact this type of... They're not. Especially when you incorporate like an illegal surveillance, which is what it is. If you don't have open, if I cannot respond to the Premier or his party or the safety commissioner, then what rights do they possibly have to process me? It's not. We're chipping away at it. It is falling to pieces. It is time to get out. You never were and never will be a fucking cog or a spring or a lever or a cartridge in an automatic weapon. You're a human fucking being. If you like the uniform, go and fucking, I don't know, go and join the military. Because that's what you are. You're not a police force right now. You're not a military. You're a corporate structure. You're an organizational chart, an automated, systematized fucking totalitarian device of fucking absolute horror. And until you stop, we do not know who has their finger down. It's not my claim that the device operated like Apple, whoever the fuck it is. I don't know who did this thing. It's not like the person who first made springs. Do you know what they were made for? They were made for clocks. Do we look back at history and say, oh, the person that first made springs to make clocks then made the fucking springs that pushed fucking automatic rifle cartridges up to fucking commit mass fucking atrocity? No, we don't. So I don't know where all those pieces are. All I care about right now is who has their fucking finger on our trigger of our automatic weapon of mass destruction of human beings that are autonomously, contributing to the destruction of our nation. And the easiest, the most peaceful way that I can find out who has that fucking their finger on the trigger is for you to all have a fucking holiday. I guarantee you the place will be fine. Those two things, the fact that the place doesn't disintegrate into hell, will assure you that your job was not important. And the 2 weeks of fresh air and fucking humanity again, away from your device, away from your uniform, away from your commanding officer, will show you're a human being and that you should have fucking realized this a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago or 4 years ago. And you will make a solemn oath to never be so fucking stupid again to participate in something like this. We will then fucking distribute that knowledge around the world, and we will march on fucking China with the combined forces of the entire fucking civilized world. And we will short circuit every single one of their fucking little factories, every single one of their fucking distribution centers, every single one of their fucking weapons things. Every fucking military officer in China's brain will fucking shit itself as they bleed from their fucking eyeballs when they realize how fucked they are. If you happen to have heard this and this has treated you well, I look forward to perhaps shaking your hand in a month or two. If you've listened to this and you've decided to remain a spring or a cog in a fucking system that you don't understand, that you can't legitimize, that you can't confirm is actual authority, and I look forward to blowing your fucking brains out across a fucking trench.